Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Still leading up to the brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie this week, basically tomorrow actually, but I'm watching it Friday. Here are my thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. If you saw the new trailer, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie I remember watching the most as a kid. I really don't know why. Maybe because the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, they were kind of setting it up, letting no, kind of like setting up our characters, what to expect throughout the movie, introducing the characters, how they basically got introduced to the world. Basically, the first movie was just all answers and showing us what to do. But in this movie, they always just jumped right in and showed us all the action, all the turtles, all the characters. And I feel that's the reason I watched this movie the most. But now that I've grown up and matured more in life, is it still my favorite? That's why you're here to find out. My positives on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is I do like the change in tone in this movie with the comedic side. Now, the first movie was much more darker and kind of more faithful to the comic books, where the comic books were always darker and they were written for adults. But in this movie, this is very comedic because at the time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original, was one of the highest opening weekends for a production company and just for movies in general. But they let a sequel happen just nearly under a year, and the only thing they said that to do to change about the movie and to let it happen is just change the tone a little bit, and they would have greenlit it. And so they changed the darker tone to be more comedic and more child friendly. Now, a lot of people probably won't care for that if you're more of a dark tone person, but this one is more like for the kids. And I prefer that tone over the dark tone. Yeah, sure, I love the dark tone. The first movie kind of shows off the world and what New York really is. But I've always really enjoyed the comedic tone in this. There's actually really funny parts throughout this movie between the Turtles, April, and Splinter. Hell, even the villains in some areas. Now, I will admit that not all the comedy works. Not all the comedy is perfect. Not all of it really works for me. But what they do use, it does work for me, and I do like the change in tone before over the original movie. Talk about this other recasting later, but there is one recasting that I really liked in this movie, and that's the April O'Neil recasting. Now, if you did not notice that they did in fact recast April from the first movie with a different actress. Now, I don't know their names. I forgot to look it up before this review, and I honestly just didn't care to look, really. But the first April O'Neil in the first movie, I felt there wasn't much chemistry there, and I was supposed to be feeling something like friendship, friendly vibes, hell, even like love interest vibes with her and Casey Jones, but I never really felt anything from her actress, and apparently she never got along with all the other actors in the original movie, and she didn't really get along with anybody, and so they decided to recast her, and I've actually seen a lot of people say that they didn't like her recasting, but I liked her recasting. I thought her actress in this movie did a much better job, like actually feeling for the turtles, being friends with the turtles, and like hanging out with them and cleaning up after them, and like where you can kind of see the tones where she's like annoyed by the turtles, but at the same time she loves them, and then she'll always take care of them and be there for them. And I felt that her actress did a better job than the one in the original. Now, no disrespect to the original actress from the original movie, but I just didn't really care for her much. But compared to this movie, I do feel that her recasting is a little bit better, and I felt her acting is a bit better than the original movie. I just preferred her recasting. There is a different recasting I will talk about soon, but her casting I do prefer over the original. Positive is that I also really liked how Shredder had more to do in this movie. Now, we saw Shredder a lot in the first movie, but he would only like just show up here and there, just interrogating Splinter and just kind of like showing up and being like training the Foot Clan and all that, just kind of showing up, be intimidating and torturing Splinter, and then at the very end, he'll show up just to fight the Turtles. To me, he didn't do much in the original, but he was still badass. But to me, he has more to do in this movie, and I do like the purple outfit better than like the kind of like pinkish shirt that he had in the first movie. I do prefer the Shredder has more to do in this movie because like I said compared to the first movie, like we were just getting introduced, explaining all this and like letting us know our characters, but I felt that the writers knew that we already knew all these characters, so they just decided to write their roles bigger and have a bigger part and all that. And I felt their strengths was for Shredder because Shredder had a lot to do in this movie, and I really like that how when we're first introduced to him, like he's coming out of the garbage after being like knocked down into the garbage truck at the end of the first movie. He's coming out of the pile of garbage and he shows up and he's like making his helmet and then he's saying like the first thing that we're gonna do is get revenge on the turtles. I like that Shredder has more to do. I love that how his outfit is more comic book accurate and more TV show accurate. I love that Shredder has more to do in this because he is my favorite villain of the Ninja Turtles, which is not really surprising. It's one of my favorite villains in like ever really. He does a great job in this movie. I'm glad we got to see more of him, and it's a shame that he had to die. Or did he? Now that I think about it, I was really bummed out at the end of the movie where he drinks all the ooze and then he becomes like really big Shredder with like weird, like a bunch of spikes all over him and all that, and he's like bigger, more muscular. It looks really stupid, really. What really bummed me out was that it kind of led up to this like big boss fight, and all he did was like just, and they were under like a pier, and he was just knocking shit down left and right, and he just like he just they don't even fight him when he's like that. He kind of fucks himself over. He's really bummed up about what? Bummed out about that. Really like the Kino character in this movie. Now, I don't know if that's a controversial opinion, but I always did like the Kino character, even when I was younger. Well, the reason I like him is because he's basically us, the audience, where he's hanging out with the turtles, wanting to help them, wanting to hang out with them. Like, if you watch the Turtles movie or a TV show, you're kind of sitting there as a kid, like, I want to hang out with the turtles. They're so cool and fun. Like, Kino's that character. He gets to hang out the characters. He gets to train with Splinter, meditate with them, help out April O'Neil. He's basically us, the audience, helping out the turtles and the characters. That's why I like him. He's a fun character. He even knows karate. Not surprising that he's Asian. Final positive is a song that I've always loved growing up. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja. Growing up, I would find videos on YouTube and I'd find out like 10-hour videos or something like that. And I would play that song like over and over. And I dressed up like a Ninja Turtle when I did that. Guys, or ladies and gentlemen, am I the only one here that misses being a child? Like a small, like 5-year-old? I do. Moving on to my mixed aspects. And I only have one thing, and I'm not a big hater on it. And that's like the bebop and rocksteady of this movie. Now, they're technically not Bebop and Rocksteady. To describe it to you, it's one is a giant dog, and it kind of looks like a wolf, like a giant red-haired wolf in a way, and the other is a giant turtle, and it kind of looks like something from Mario, like a Bowser in a way, really. And what they're written to be is kind of like a Bebop and Rocksteady type character, but I didn't understand what they were, so I had to look this up and I saw behind the scenes footage. And apparently, the writers and the director did not like Bebop and Rocksteady as characters in the TV show. And so, what they tried to do is make their own versions of them, but I felt they should have just made Bebop and Rocksteady because they're basically written to be them. They have the same personality, they do basically the same things as them. So what they try to do is make their own out of them, which I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that they tried to make their own characters within this universe, but that's not Ninja Turtle characters, which again, I'm glad that they tried to do something different, but why not just write Bebop and Rocksteady? If you don't like them, who gives a fuck? These movies are supposed to be fan service to to these characters and to us fans, but you basically just push aside Bebop and Rocksteady, like you push away the pig and the rhino and bring in a dog and a turtle. Just write Bebop and Rocksteady, not dog and turtle. Moving on to my negatives, and I only have one that every time I watch it now, it's hard to notice, and that's the Donatello recasting. Now, in the original movie, you had Corey Feldman in the voice of Donatello in the original 1990 movie. To me, that's brilliant casting because he was basically the kid of the 80s, like the face of the 80s at the time. But what my issues was, one of my issues about the first movie is that Donatello had nothing to do. He was just like there because he had to be. But I am glad he has more to do in this movie. That's great. That's one of my downfalls about the movie, and that's what they learned from their mistakes. But it's hard to notice when there's a recasting and a different voice. Now, to me, his voice doesn't say Donatello. I just don't care for his casting. It doesn't say Donatello to me. It says it's a grown man. It doesn't say it's a teenager. To me, it just sounds like a 40-year-old man. Nothing against his actor, but it just doesn't sound like Donatello to me. Then all that, this is one of the best sequels ever. I adore this sequel. It's one of my favorite sequels out there. It's possibly my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. It might be overthrown one day. Who knows? But this is an awesome Ninja Turtles movie. If you're a Ninja Turtles fan, you will be pleased by this movie. So this is a movie where I definitely recommend that you go out and buy it. You guys think about Ninja Turtles 2 Secret of the Ooze? Have you seen this movie? What did you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love to subscribe, hit the bell notification so you will get notified for my latest videos. But, of course, until my next video, see you next time.